Hey everybody, welcome back to the Outer Rim Rookie, a beginner's journey to joining the 501st and Rebel Legion. My name is Rob Williams. Today I'm going to show you something special I've been working on for my Ree Yees costume. Now I'm still got a lot to go, especially when it comes to the tunic, but as I've been putting the pieces together, I felt there was something more to put with the costume. Since I was a kid, I've always loved this character. The three eyes, the big giant head, the 80s shoulder pads. But what I especially liked about this character was the blaster. The blaster itself is quite unique. It's gold, unlike most of the other blasters that you see in Star Wars. It has this cool long barrel with this 1980s sort of sci-fi loops on it, looking like a Max Moon out of WWF. Even has a bayonet and this weird handle trigger that really doesn't make any sense, but it sat nicely in his hand. It was such a cool weapon. In fact, they even reused the weapon in droids. For Ree Yees fans, as many as there are out there, it's become kind of an iconic feature for Ree Yees. You can even find it in the recent Star Wars Visions cartoons, little mini-series that was out just last year. There was a Gran in one of the cartoons, and he carried his signature bayonet weapon. Same style, same bayonet, curved handle. Pretty cool. So as I was working on the costume, I said, I need to build that blaster. I gotta carry something around. I gotta get that 1% of nerds who will get this. So I built it. I actually built this bad boy. Look at this thing. That's pretty cool. I really enjoyed making this because a lot of this blaster was made just by doing. It's made of PVC pipe for most of it and foam for the rest of it, and a lot of gold paint. The bayonet, the nuts, foam. The pipe, PVC. This is backing foam for dishwashers. More foam, foam on top of PVC, 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 PVC. It was such a simple build because it was such a simple design. I measured it out to scale, and I gotta say, it looks really good. It's gonna be a lot of fun walking around carrying this thing. And I can hardly wait for that 1% to figure out and recognize what this is. I took this and made this, and I'm going to show you how I did it. But I couldn't have done it totally by myself. A buddy of mine, Dan Veloso, way out in Quadra Island, helped me weather this bad boy to make it look like it's been used, beaten up, and he did an amazing job. So let me show you how I built this. Let's go.
To start off, I need to know how long the blaster was going to be. When I put the blaster next to the action figure Ree Yees, it's about up to his hip. So, on scale for me, it was about 1 meter. I scaled everything down and tried to figure out my parts. To start, I needed PVC pipe, and that was going to be about 2 inches. I headed to a store nearby called Industrial Plastics and Paints, grabbed some foam which was about 1/4 inch thick, and just started piecing things together, putting them in certain shapes, and then glue them together. I don't own a lot of tools, but this project did encourage me to go out and buy things like vices instead of using detergent bottles. When trying to figure out the exhaust holes, the math teacher in me was having a ball with this. I got to play with the geometry, lay it out, and then start cutting holes using these clay stencils. The foam was so thick that I had to use a hammer to press down on the stencil. The cooling coils was made out of backer rod about 2 centimeters wide. You can find it at any Home Depot. I would cut them in half as best I could, measure out the spaces, and then glue it on around the PVC. Making the bayonet was a lot of trial and error. I would make mistakes and then try again. but after a while I was able to figure it out. For this part of the bayonet, I also found that using thinner foam would help cover up a lot of the holes and cracks. When I was happy with the shape, I used a Dremel to sharpen the bayonet and to round out other edges that need to be rounded out. The bayonet was treated like a slip ring, so I rolled up a piece of foam and stuffed it inside the PVC. I really enjoyed the style of this stock with this cutout piece, so I worked really hard to get the right measurements and the right design. I gave the PVC an extra layer of thin foam and then cut out the piece from it. One of the things that bothered me when I was putting this piece together was all the gaps and holes that I could find within the foam. So after doing a little bit of research, I discovered that foam clay was used to fill in those little gaps. Again, I found this in industrial plastics and paints. The foam was relatively easy to use. You just need a little bit of water to help spread it, and then let it dry so you can easily sand it. And now it was time to paint. One of the things that costumers who work with foam did was cover everything in wood glue. It gave it that primer that also sealed all the holes. So I filled in all the gaps and all the nooks and crannies, and then spray painted it. After a few coats of paint, it was all done, minus the handle. So now it's time to take a trip to Quadra Island, visit Dan, so he can weather it up.
Okay, so what I started to do, what I first did, is I don't know if you can kind of see that. I added some, just a little patina around the edges. What I did is I mixed up a little bit of burnt umber and some just, they call it spun gold, just at one of the hobby shops here in town. So I mix those two together, put it on a brush. You just kind of go in to the little creases, just a little bit, just basically where you think it would be. Imagine cleaning an old gun or something like that, where all the little edges and all the little nooks and crannies would have some stuff stuck inside of it. Some grit or some just any bit of dirt. And if there was if there's a little imperfection, I just add a little bit there, just to give it a little bit of that look, just so it gives it, as I said, that older patina look. That's all I'm doing. So yeah, if you notice there on the back, just around here and around up there. I'm not going to do this until later because I have an idea of what I want to do with that. So anyway, see if you can kind of see that, kind of just like that. Now around these rods here, I kind of have a neat idea. I was going to add a little bit of silver and a little bit of ink that I use. It's like I use it for my Warhammer figures, and I use it for my other figures that I've customized in the past. But yeah, I basically want to get the brown and the gold mixture kind of in all the little crevices where it would you know, get dirty. Add a little bit here, same with up in here, because it's always the little bits, you know, places where dirt gets in, you don't even realize it until later on. Great thing about this acrylic paint is that if you don't like it, you can wipe it off and repaint it, basically, and do what you want. This is kind of exciting because it's an interesting way of doing it, but I don't know. This is the way I do it. You know, as long as the end result is the way you want it, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to leave it this color. As I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cloth, let it dry a little bit, and then use a damp cloth to wipe away some of the excess paint. I also wanted to give it a little bit of time to dry and some time to you know, set, and then I'll add some other colors to it as well. The barrel here, I want to add a little bit of silvers and a little bit of a brass, copper, or like a brass color. Kind of give it that look that it's been used a couple of times, but not overly. So you can use a hair dryer, or you can use whatever. I usually like to air dry it out. So yeah, that's so far, that's what it looks like. Well, sort of. Doesn't really look like much. Probably can't tell because of this phone and the camera. But anyway, so there's that. I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes and let it dry, and then wipe away the excess paint, and then do a little bit more of the finer detail work. But that's about it.
It's come.
Hold on.
First of all, man, the myth, the legend, thank you so much.
No problem.
Let's take a look at this piece. Let's take a look at this piece. Oh my lord, look at that. Oh,
It's okay.
What do you mean it's okay?
It's okay.
What do you mean? It looks like it weighs 100 pounds.
It's okay. There's some things on it that I wish I changed, but what? That's my personal thing.
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Dude, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
There you go. It looks like it weighs 100 pounds.
I know, eh? Yeah. But it doesn't. And it doesn't smell
It doesn't smell like paint anymore.
Yeah.
Now is time to build the grip. I had to use curved electrician's PVC because bending PVC was a lot more difficult than I expected. But I didn't realize how hard the electrician's PVC would be as well. It didn't quite fit as is, so I had to cut pieces off. But as I cut pieces off, I noticed there was a lot more warping, and I had to shape this thing into the hole. It required a lot of sanding, a lot of hammering, even some vices to bend the hole into a more 360-degree circle. Eventually, I used some PVC glue, jammed it in there, and it stayed solid. Now I can finally spray paint.
So there you go. There's the whole thing. I am super proud, as I've said, about this blaster. I think I'm most proud of the fact that I was able to just kind of plan it out, do the math, and just go ahead and just build it and problem solve the whole shebang. Yeah, it's not perfect. I get it. There are so many things that look maybe handmade. But when I was talking to Dan about this, he said, these blasters, if this is actually Ree's blaster, it's been beaten around, hanging around Jabba's palace, knocked over, dealing with the environment of the desert, and the heat, and the wind, and the sand. This thing's gonna look ugly. And it does. It's beautiful ugly. I'm super happy with this. I can hardly wait to be trooping and carrying this thing around. And it's even prompted me to follow up with some other ideas I have for costume props as well to go along with the Ree Yees. One of the things I've been kind of keeping quiet about, but I would really like to do, would be to have a 3-eyed camera. I've had many ideas of how to do it and actually have it take pictures, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. Right now, I got to get the costume done before I get anything else done. Thank you so much, Dan, for all your help on guiding me as well as just painting this bad boy. I truly appreciate it. I love it to death. And I think I'm going to just hang this above my bed. I got to get some hooks and just have it hang there. It's a great little piece. So I'm such a nerd. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope it kind of encourages you to do the same. Maybe you've wanted to build your own type of action figure blaster. Hey, go for it. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, help me get to 300, spread the word, share this video, share any of the other Outer Rim Rookie videos, and share the video if there's somebody who you think would be interested in joining something like the 501st, Rebel Legion, or anything else like that. Any of your other fellow cosplayers out there. We'll talk to you next time. Remember, armor and blasters are built on hope. Bye.